Mentally ill, or they're, you know, it's usually because they're having some going through some mental challenges, and there's some mental health problems going on in their life. Correct. But the thing is we're focused on, let's do background checks on guns, and let's do this, and let's we have to we have to realize as a society, none of that stuff is going to do anything. These kids are still going to get their hands on guns. These parents are still, are not taking care, and not only the parents, but our mental health system is like terrible, terrible. Mental health is terrible. Like, people don't, we just kind of brush it off and throw them to the streets, and hopefully, nothing bad happens. Because I'll tell you this much: a gun has never looked at anybody and shot somebody, right? A gun has no feelings. It's the person behind that gun. And yes, this is a very big tragedy today. 14 kids, not even like a teenagers, 14 kids lost their lives today. Okay. These are little elementary school kids that don't know any better. It's sad. The suspect also shot his grandmother, also shot a teacher. But if we focus on the fact that the the kid was probably showing some mental illness before he did all this. He was probably showing hatred towards certain people, or maybe he went to that school when he was younger and something happened to him there. Who knows? But no one took the time out to figure that, to listen to all these little cues that this guy was going to do something. Because I tell you what, for the most part, people with issues and problems that are having mental breakdowns and mental illness and mental health issues usually start letting you know that that's going to be an issue, right? But if we brush it off and act like it's not a big deal, and it's not anything that's concerns you, that's where the problem lies. Okay, there's no amount of gun control that you could do to anybody in the world, right? There's no amount of policies and background checks that are going to stop these shootings from happening if we do not start helping the humans behind the guns. Time and time again, we focus on the gun. The gun has no feeling. Okay, the gun has no idea if it's killed somebody. The person behind the gun, yes, does. But you guys really, really, really have to rationally think about this, that it's a mental health issue. We do not take care of people who are having mental health issues. And until we start doing that, and until we start facing what the problem is, it's in your face. We're not taking care of the people. Nothing's going to go, these are going to continue to happen. You could put background checks on guns. You could put a background check on your underwear. It's not going to do you any good, because it's not a citizen who is a responsible citizen that's going to do these kind of shootings. Someone who's deeply has some mental health issues going on, and that we need to actually start looking at that and stop focusing on the fact of it's this or that. It's not. They're having mental health issues, and a lot of times they cry out to the fact that they're having mental health issues. But until we address those facts, this will continue to happen. And my heartfelt condolences go out to all those families. They lost little ones that barely made it into this world. So yes, it's super sad. This is not a joking matter. I didn't come into this today with a joking manner. This is really it's as sad as it gets for a lot of parents today in Texas. It's a sad day for them. But us as a society need to start caring a little bit more about the being fucking human. We forget about that. We focus on the fact that, oh, the guns did it. The guns didn't do anything. That was merely a tool, all right? Just like when the burglar breaks into your house, it was a tool they used. They're not going to charge the tool. You're not going to see a mass ban on sledgehammers or stuff to break into houses with. You won't see a mass ban of it. It's a tool. Let's focus on the real problem. All right. Doing a bunch of gun control, blah blah blah, Yahoo bullshit is not going to do it. We need to focus on the real problem. We have a mental health crisis in the United States, and we throw these people out into the streets and pretend like they don't exist. That's what it boils down to. And instead of doing that, we should start getting people help and start listening. They give you audio clues. They let you know that they're about to do something like this. But if we shun it off and pretend like we didn't hear anything and pretend like these people are just looking for attention, is when issues like this and tragedies like this happen. We got to start being a little bit of a better listener and stop throwing people out into the streets and acting like everything's going to be all right as long as we don't hear them or see them. You got to pay attention to them. And when they're crying out for help, get them the help they need before stuff like this happens. Tragedies like this happen. That's exactly what happened today. People were not paying attention. The kid was probably crying out for help. That he has something going on in his mind, something mentally going on in his head that isn't right. And instead of it, taking care of it and actually dealing with the situation, we ignored it. Now this big tragedy and mass shooting happens again. Can't tell me that this kid was just quiet. Pretty sure he was crying out for help, like every other person I've seen that conducted this kind of bullshit. So again, heartfelt condolences go out to those in Texas. Sad day. And just because I play shooters or I actually do go shooting, I do own firearms, but like I said, if you're gonna base your bullshit theory to me that it's because of these games and it's because of no, it boils down to what you ethically are teaching your kids. These games, if you're telling me that these games are the reason your kids are violent, you're not parenting at all. Okay, you're not parenting. If this game, this fictitious game that we don't have these superpowers, you're telling me that this is what's making these mass shootings go on, you're full of shit. You really are. That's your bad parenting, that you're not telling these kids that this is all stuff that is make believe. You can't tell me that this stuff right here is the root and cause of the evil of all the stuff that's going on right now. It's the fact that you don't give two shits about what's going on in your kid's life, and you want to put a scapegoat. So what do? You blame these games with shooting. You blame the fucking guns. Tell me where you can find any of these guns that are in this particular game. Yes, Call of Duty, yes, those are based on real guns, but this game has nothing. Like, you guys, parents, you need to take a nice grasp on reality here and realize that if your kid is crying out for help for you, for attention, start doing it. Don't blame streamers, the guns, the violent games. These things didn't do anything. The gun didn't do anything. That gun that was used today had no idea what it was about to be used for. Can't tell me the kid played Apex or Call of Duty or whatever, and that's the source of all the evil. It's not. It's a fact you didn't listen to him when he was crying out for help. When you sit there and I listen to some of these kids, when I do those YouTube videos of trolling in VR chat, very interestingly enough, a lot of those kids are all crying out for help. A lot of them talk about suicide. A lot of them talk about how they're having mental issues and they're depressed. Where are your parents? Why are you in a virtual world talking about this stuff? Why are you not talking to somebody who's in your real life? And that's where the concern is. Just think about it. I'm hearing this in a virtual world. Why are they not talking to their parents? I'm confused. I'm really, really confused. Why is the virtual world the place they're going to for help? It's really confusing to me that this is happening. You guys, as parents, need to take a reality check. Okay? It's great and everything that you want to blame video games, guns, and violence. And this has been in the culture for a long time. When I was growing up, we were playing the same kind of games. I don't see anybody that I know doing this. So I think the bigger conversation is what are you going to do to help your kid and actually listen to your kid? Because most of the time they come to the streams like mine. I know they've gone to Jay Stunn's, the other couple other streamers that I know, literally talking about ending their life. Why are they coming to us and not to you as a parent? It's a big question. Like I said, this is no laughing matter. This is no joke. I'm really concerned about a lot of these kids because this is not this narrative I've heard over and over. It's kind of behavior I've seen over and over. And the parents want to blame everybody else, but it starts with you. You're in these kids' life every day, not me. Not any other streamer. Okay, not any video game. You should be in their life. Number one. You should know what's going on. Ignoring them and throwing them at grandma's house or taking them and sending them to little Johnny's house because you don't want to hear what they have to say is definitely the wrong thing. All right. Really frustrated. I've seen enough of these shootings. I've analyzed enough of these shootings to realize that it all boils down to one thing. The mental health and the fact that the parents were not aware that their kid was having that much of an issue, whether it be because they committed suicide or they committed some mass shooting like this. This isn't the first time I've heard this. We got to start paying a little more attention and start focusing on paying attention to these kids and understanding where they're coming from and helping them through these tough times, because it is tough times. Growing up now and growing up when I was growing up, two totally different things. Two totally different things. Because there's so much pressure to be the best. There's so much pressure to be, there's a lot of pressures that you didn't have when I was growing up. That's happening now with these kids. And you got to adapt and slowly start to realize that you need to start paying more attention to them. And not just letting them wander off and do whatever. And if they're having mental issues, if they're having suicidal thoughts, first thing you need to do is talk and just listen to them. Not sit there and fucking shun them away and try to throw them into the circles of the failed mental health care system that's not really working. Or the judicial system that's equally not really working. It's all failing. So we need to come together and start coming up with a better action plan than, hey, let's point fingers at everybody else. Let's point fingers at the guns. Let's make a background check for for a gun that you already don't have one. I had to go through a background check for my guns. What is it? What other background checks are you going to need? You want a credit reference? Want a stool sample? It's not going to do you any good. Not even some of the most psychotic people could pass uh, um, a psych test. Not going to do you any good if you're not paying attention to the clues and understanding that people are having a mental issue or they're having mental health issues. It's just not going to go anywhere, and these things are going to continue to happen. Well, that's my 2 cents. Like I said again. Again, my deepest condolences go out to those people in Texas.